Where the Wild Things Are was a movie that made me feel depression when I was 13, and I watched this movie in 2009. But watching this movie as an adult now, I wonder why the child version of me felt the way that I did. Why did this movie make me feel sad? You know what it was? I think the plot for this movie was too mature for my brain as a retarded teenager, so it made me feel sad. I found the plot to this movie to be different than what I was used to from a kid's movie. This movie is so for fucking kids, by the way, and don't get mad at me if I decide to ask the question, does the little boy in this movie watch Family Guy at home? First off, here's the plot. The little boy in this movie has a fight with his mom, causing him to run away to another world where there are things in that world. Wild things. Maggie and the ferocious beast, and go fuck yourself, and go fuck yourself, and go eat a dick. Dun, 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 dun. In this movie, this child is about to get eaten by these monsters, and the way that this movie is directed really sells the illusion that this kid is in a bad place. These monsters aren't fucking around in this movie. But for some reason, I guess these creatures are supposed to be as stupid as children because the little boy lies to them that he's a powerful king and this prevents him from being eaten by the monsters. So the rest of this movie is just a little boy playing with monsters. Then the monsters get sad and they start to hate each other. So then things turn out bad, so the little boy decides to leave and then he goes back home to his mom. That's it. Now, is this movie a good movie? Well, when I was 13 and I watched this movie, I was a goofy, ugly child, so in a lot of ways, I related to the very young kid in this movie. The kid in this movie is supposed to be 9. By the way, the child actor in this movie is a good actor, and his performance really just feels like a child playing around. This made me feel sad as a 13-year-old for some reason. I think when I watched this movie and I was 13, I also wanted to dress up like a rabbit like this 9-year-old kid does. I was a baby still when I was 13, so I would say that I don't relate to the child in this movie anymore now that I'm an adult. Like, we all feel misunderstood, and maybe child me felt that way. So maybe this movie was way more disturbing to watch when I was 13 for that reason, because now I don't feel the same way I do as an adult that I felt about this movie when I was a teenager. Watching this movie as an adult, I feel almost nothing for these characters. They don't matter to me, and not all the things that they do in this movie are exciting. That's not to say that things don't happen in this movie and that this movie is boring. The characters in this story just feel like they are only allowed to say things up to a certain point because there's no swearing in this kid's movie. In fact, the best way I would describe this movie is that it's a child's movie directed for adults to also be watching. So in this story, many things are done to make the characters the scary monsters that they are. But these monsters are also funny, scary monsters, and they're not just a bunch of a-holes. They are scary monsters because they do view each other like animals. So in this movie, you'll see something messed up happen, like a character pulling off the arm of another character. This movie is only PG, so the violence never really goes off the rails. The kid does get eaten in this movie, but that process is more so goofy and made up looking than violent and gory. This movie is not going to be that adult with its story, like showing blood or killing the little boy, but in some ways this movie is more emotionally scarring. This movie scared me when I was a 13-year-old boy. I was not used to a movie with this type of writing. The characters' emotions are written to be right out in the open in this movie. Some teenagers accidentally crushed the kid in this movie, and that whole event is filmed very honestly, where you have to watch the uncomfortableness of life as a small child. When a character is angry or sad, those emotions are what creates the tension in this movie. For example, the little boy in this movie gets the monster Carol to get mad enough at him that he actually wants to eat the little boy, and so the little boy has to run away for his life. This movie feels mean because the little boy bites his mom in this movie, which is what causes him to run away in the first place. This movie felt like a mean movie because when I was 13, I wasn't emotionally mature enough to deal with things like this at the time. Watching this movie now as an adult, it doesn't have the same impact on me. It's an alright movie. This movie could have gone on a little longer, and it could have had a lot more to say with its story. This movie feels over and done with faster than I felt comfortable with it ending. I will say that this movie did make me cry as an adult at the end. Just seeing a child go back to his mom at the end was really touching. This movie is not particularly the most exciting movie ever made, but it does tell a decent story. The story is well acted, and the only reason that I even think about this movie to this very day is that the story is well written. This movie is incredibly well directed, and fun things do happen in this movie's story, but it ends way too soon. This movie could have gone on longer, and it could have been about a lot more things. Sadly, this movie sort of just ends out of nowhere. Maggie and the ferocious beast, and go fuck yourself. And go fuck yourself, and go eat a dick. Dun 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 dun.
We got a #1 victory royale. Yeah, Fortnite, we bout to get down. 10 kills on the board right now. Just wiped out Tomato Town.